Hello, everyone. My name is Janice Martolucci. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time to Sangha Live with Caverly Morgan. Caverly Morgan has been offering these daily meditations for months now, and it's a very bittersweet announcement to say that she'll be wrapping up her time doing this for now, July 10th. So glad to be here to savor it with you all today. If you're new, Caverly Morgan is a meditation teacher, a nonprofit leader. She founded the nonprofit Peace in Schools and is the creator of Presence Collective. And so she'll be offering a 30-minute meditation and then loves to have dialogue with you, either by coming on screen. You could just ask to come on screen in the sidebar, or by asking a question in the question box. I have just a kind of a handful of announcements today on behalf of Caverly and her work. I want to give a huge plug for her children's book, a children's book about mindfulness. I've read it, and I definitely plan on sharing it with my son one day when he's a little bit older. But it's a beautiful resource for any of you who have young ones in your life and you want to give them a taste of really the depth of this practice. It's not a mindfulness 101 kids book. It really offers the heart of awareness practice to our youth. So plug about her book. I'll put in a link about where you can find a copy. And then there's a bunch of upcoming events if you want to practice more with Caverly, or if you want to practice more with the communities that she's a part of. So with Caverly, she offers a Wednesday night meditation group, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. She also has an event coming up July 7th. I'm just going to pull up the information on that. It's called How to Know Equanimity Amidst Upheaval. And that is specifically hosted by the Insight Meditation Community of Charlottesville, for those of you who might be on the East Coast. I also want to plug a Presence Collective teacher. This Thursday is offering a free webinar, Latifa Hill, or a donation basis webinar. And the theme is grieving together during this time. And let's see, is there anything else? Caverly and I just went through the list, and I'm not sure if I got it all, but I'm sure she'll fill in anything I might have missed. Lastly, before I bring Caverly on, I just want to thank you for being here and thank you for your support. You can support through your presence and your engagement. And if you are able, we love if you can support through donating. Sangha Live is here because of the financial generosity of this community. So there's a green button below me right there if you're able to offer anything. It's greatly appreciated. All right, I might have gotten all the announcements, maybe not, we'll see. I'm going to bring Caverly on now.
Janice, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your support. And friends, I need to take on, that was like the cutest little donate button thing that I'd seen yet, right here. I need a cool sound effect for the donate button. Thank you, Janice. Clearly delighted me this morning. As you all can see, I have such great admiration for the people I work with. I feel like often you get to see me just delighting in the fact that just connecting with Alyssa before these calls, connecting with Janice. I want to give a huge shout out again to all the people who've been making these teachings manifesting in the world in this way possible. And so that's Janice, that's Alyssa, that's Jake from Sangha Live, Caroline at Sangha Live, Martin for creating Sangha Live with Jake. And I really appreciate you all too. I've been just enjoying this so very much. So thank you for being here today. And again, thanks to all those who are providing such a service to make this possible. Janice has a lot on her plate, so just taking the time to do this as well is extra, and Janice has just endless willingness, it often seems. Joyce too. Joyce has been helping so much with transcribing and giving titles so that I can have little quotes to pull for Instagram. Do follow along there if you don't already. I've been enjoying being more active on that page. And yeah, thank you, friends. Thank you. I would like to respond. Yeah, Nikki, thank you for acknowledging. So sad this is finishing too. I actually have the same feeling. I've just enjoyed it so much. And I do, Sangha Live's taking this break, but I feel inspired already to see what we'll come up with that will likely be run through Presence Collective. And again, I think Alyssa posted yesterday the times of day that we're looking at. And I believe it's Tuesdays, 9, 10, and 11, just to, we'll have a little summer break as well, and then we'll start back in. So yes, Sharon just asked for clarification on the times, but I do, Janice, you probably don't even know that because I think that's something Alyssa and I had come up with. So no worries. I'm almost positive, friends, that it's Tuesdays, 9, 10, or 11. So thank you for saying that, Andrea. And again, I'm sorry that we haven't had a face-to-face that I know of. And so I've not known if it's Andrea, or maybe you're Drea that I used to work with, and it's actually just Drea. Anyway, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. John and Nancy, what comes next? I don't know, but lots of possibilities indeed. So our organization is very attuned to finding, seeing, and moving into possibilities. So there are many, but we will start with a once a week time. Specifically, I have not offered something like a morning teaching other than these calls ever. So it's been so lovely seeing those in Amsterdam, Jerusalem, Netherlands, Kiki, if you're here today, Grenada. Like, it's so lovely seeing people from outside the United States. And so we are looking again at Tuesdays, 9, 10. I said I was pretty sure about this. It's, I think we put forward, oh, good, Charlie, 9, 10, 11, or noon. And you can cast your votes with Alyssa by emailing her at alyssa@presencecollective.org. Thank you, Charlie. So that will be, Does this also mean that Sangha Live will stop daily meditation sessions? Thank you, Jonathan. Martin is going to continue through sometime end-ish July, but certainly for sure Sangha Live is taking August off. He's continuing just a little longer than me, maybe a week longer than me, and you might have been here yesterday, Jonathan. My husband and I are going to take a week away for our anniversary, so that's why I'm just going to be about a week ahead of Martin in the closing down of these morning calls. So again, we'll start on the Presence Collective end with a once a week time once we take a little break. Can't wait to hear what time you'd like us to do that, because I really want to cater to what works for you all. Joyce said something sweet yesterday about just how much connection is felt, at least for her, and certainly for me, regarding all the people who show up regularly. And so we'd love to, no problem, Kiki. I was just mentioning, thank you for being here. I was just making reference to you, Kiki, because I was acknowledging we're going to be starting this once a week service once the daily service falls away. So again, thank you, Sangha Live. I have my hands in so many different projects with Peace in Schools and Presence Collective. And given that it's actually extremely rare for me to get to teach every day, and I've absolutely loved that. Marie, it's lovely to see you here today. Greetings back to you in Sweden. Friends, so yes, I feel quite connected to you as community. If you're here for the first time today, welcome. We are really putting out to the world that we'd love to have friends show up as they're able as we close out with Sangha Live. I've mentioned in passing that Sangha Live is just just breaking even or slightly above with these calls. And there might be another point in time where we decide to do something like this again. So I'd love for them to be able to end on a note of feeling like this has been a great success for them, which I think they do. But yeah, please spread the word so that Caverly, will you be having the Wednesday night sits? Those are through Presence Collective, and they will definitely continue. I've been doing Wednesday night sits for more years than I care to count in this moment. So certainly we will continue, and we'll continue with online Wednesday night sits, even though Portland would allow us to go back into the space where we'd be in person. So it's just sweet to see you all chatting with each other. Christine, yes, hello. It is a strange time right now. And Sharon, happy birthday to Zoe. Lovely. I feel like I'm on one of those radio shows where I start doing like birthday announcements. Okay, since folks are feeling a little chatty today, which I love, say a little something. What are you present to? What's alive for you in your practice? What's been going on? While you check in to see, I'll just name one more thing. We have not hashed out the full details yet, but I am thrilled that Sangha Live has asked me to do my first children's book reading. And that's going to be on Saturday, the 11th, right after we close these calls out. So the morning calls with me will end on the 10th, and then the very next morning. I wanted this community to be the first community that had a children's book reading. And it's quite fun because I contacted the publisher yesterday to say, okay, I've got this children's book, but you guys, I haven't even seen it in print yet. It's, I wrote it, I've seen it in design on the computer, but I wrote him yesterday and I said, okay, so when I'm gonna have this book in my hands, because I booked this children's book reading, and he wrote and said, it's gonna be coming in like literally the day before this reading, and he's gonna overnight it to me, which is just kind of fun. And so if you can show up on the 11th, you will likely be seeing it, hearing it for the first time, with me getting to see and hear it for the first time in the flesh. So like Janice said, it's not a Mindfulness 101 book. Christine on this call has had a chance to read it as well and offer some feedback, which got incorporated in. And it's really been a fun team effort. And it's quite at the heart of this book. It's quite non-dual. And my friend Latifa, who's teaching through Presence Collective soon, have known her. She's a Sufi teacher I've known for over 20 years. She said, I think this book is actually more for adults than children, or at least as much. So she bought a lot of copies for her adult friends, which I thought was quite sweet. Okay, good. Charlie, glad you'll be there. Kiki, thank you. Nikki, alive to bringing presence from my meditation through into my everyday life. Beautiful. So Nikki, that would be a nice thing. Yes, Kiki, the 11th of July. Nikki, that would be a nice thing for us to focus on, wouldn't it, as we close down these morning sessions. Practice in everyday life. So thanks for naming that. Ellen, so much gratitude. And Caverly, many blessings for your upcoming anniversary and your book release. Thank you. Thank you. I'm quite excited about the book release and my anniversary too. I don't want to get in trouble with my husband. I'm excited for both. Okay, Andrea, I'm feeling live to fullness of heart. Beautiful. I thought to, yes, you got it, Kiki. I thought to potentially focus on the heart today. I was wanting to respond to Sharon's request for another practice that focuses on energy and the energetic system. And so I thought of one this morning that I haven't shared with you all yet. I'll give one more pause just to see if anyone else would like to name what's alive, what you're present to. Charlie, I'm currently present to playfulness and excitement as I began searching for my first apartment in San Diego County. A little stress surrounding that too, but I know now how to view the stress as a cloud in the sky of my awareness. Charlie, beautiful. Beautiful, thank you. Charlie, that's so wonderfully said. And it reminds me that Alyssa, as we kind of do a final plug for these last handful of sessions, any testimonial, if there's anyone on the call that would like to offer a testimonial about how these morning sessions have been for you, please send that to Alyssa at presencecollective.org. Her email address, if you scroll up, Charlie had posted her note from yesterday that has her spelling of her name and her email address. That would be so helpful if you're inspired. Maria, love as liberation is present here. Lightness of heart. Yevlin, much gratitude for all these wonderful morning sessions. Thank you, Yevlin. Christine, in appreciating your bubbliness this morning, can I have some of that in my energetic system? It's Christine, it's oolong. Okay, Kiki. Present to joy and happiness today. Sharon, thanks. I also feel fullness of heart and so glad for this meditation. Yeah, thank you. Okay, friends, I've chatted enough, and we'll move straight into a meditation that is focused on the heart, as I said. And thank you, Sharon, for prompting. Anyone else on this call, if you'd like to give a note at any point in time or send a note to Alyssa, based on all the things we've focused on, is there anything you'd like to bring further attention to as we have these last sessions together through Sangha? Taking 3 of the longest and deepest inhalations and exhalations you've taken yet today. Before I ring this meditation bell, I'm going to offer a little bit more instruction, or a little bit of instruction about this specific practice, so that you can open your eyes and look at my hands before I ring the bell, if that would be supportive to you. We're going to be focusing on 2 major energy centers with this meditation. First, we'll start by focusing on the crown of the head, the 7th chakra. This is, and friends, if you are new to this platform with me, and you are new to working with the chakras, perhaps even have some aversion to working with the chakras, Joyce, I don't know how accessible it is, but maybe you could just post what days we've focused on the chakras, because every other time I've brought up the chakras, I've given some background, offered a way to work with it, see it, and I don't want to do that today in terms of time. So friends, you can go back to the other sessions about the chakra system and my approach to the chakra system. Today, I'm just going to refer to the 7th and then the 4th. 7th, located at the crown of the head, the place of faith and belief, connection to other realms. The heart chakra, located right at the center of the chest. The heart chakra, in the way that I was trained to work with it, is not simply the place of love, which is how a lot of people speak about it. In my training and experience, is the place of unconditional love, and also the place of acceptance, and also the place of possibility. And that last piece is important. I trained with Walter McKitchen, who founded the Center for Self-Teaching, and he did not speak about the heart chakra without including its quality of our capacity to access possibility. So when you feel like there's only one way or there's not a lot of possibility, that's often the function or the byproduct of an attenuated, undernourished heart chakra. This practice is about nourishing the heart, opening the center of unconditional love, acceptance, and possibility. First, we stimulate the seventh chakra. It's funny that I made a joke about oolong this morning, which really is just a little bit of a joke. Those of you who might drink coffee, for example, I don't drink coffee, but I have many people in my life that do, and they've done this energetic practice, and they've mentioned to me that stimulating the seventh chakra in this way has become a more reliable source of stimulation than even coffee. I don't drink coffee, so I can't make that comparison, but I can say that it definitely, this practice can wake the energetic system up, and I love it for that reason. We're going to be creating sound today. We're going to be chanting. And for today, you can just listen, or you can chant alongside me. Know that if you're new to chanting and it feels really clunky, you won't fully feel the effects of the practice until you practice it enough so that you don't have to think about the actual chanting until it's quite assimilated as a practice. So the chant, these are just syllables. Walter used to really underline the importance of not making too much meaning. Each sound creates a different resonance and opening in the energetic system. For example, the sound Om has a very different impact energetically than the sound E. So I'm not going to talk today about what each sound does in the energetic system. I'd like you to explore this. The stimulation practice in the seventh chakra is E, La, O, La. It's done with some lightness and some cadence that is somewhat upbeat. So it's not E, La, O, La. It's right in the seventh chakra. E, La, O, La. E, La, O, La. You're focusing on the crown of the head as you create that sound. Sharon, you wanted to remind folks this will be available to people as a recording. Yes, indeed. So don't stress over trying to make sure you get it all down, because this recording will be available. And you can just make a little note that we're starting the meditation around 8:25 or so. So you can skim to that point. We then drop down into the heart. So we focus on the chakra that we're working with while creating the sound. Just the focus of the attention in that way is what creates the shift. We move down to the heart. There's a breathing practice that goes with this chanting. You could do this breathing practice without even the chants. I always use the example, if you work in an office where you are around a lot of other people, you can even go into a bathroom stall and take 2 minutes. If you're having trouble accessing the mind of patience, this is a particularly good breath practice. Exhale. Hands come out to shoulder width apart. Inhale. Hands come in together to touch. Exhale. Hands come out to shoulder width apart or beyond. Follow what's natural, what's easeful. Inhale. Hands come back together to touch. So breathing in that way. Again, you could do that just on your own. What we'll be doing today is we'll do that for a moment and then we'll bring in the chant. This chant is Hum, E, Ah, Om. Very simple syllables that again are nourishing to the heart. So you'll be focusing on the heart while creating that sound. Hum, E, Ah, Om. So the first E, La, O, La in 7th. Just in case your recording is fuzzy or my end's fuzzy, E, La, O, La. I just posted on the side. E, La, O, La. And then once we're in the heart, Hum, E, Ah, Om. And the 4th. Hum, E, Ah, Om. Okay, just so you can, in case it's hard to tell, is she saying what I'm saying? There you have it. Okay, that's the background. Are there any questions before we sit and practice? We'll sit for about 25 minutes today with the chant included and then falling into silence. And then that will allow us 5 minutes at the end if anyone wants to clarify anything about this particular practice. All right, friends. Thank you. Beginning this practice by focusing on the crown of the head. You might find it helpful to touch the crown of your head. You're focusing on the crown of the head and then the space right above the head. You might find it helpful to make contact as you bring your attention to that space. Again, this first simple chant is a stimulation chant. Many people I know do it, and I have done it just on my own instead of oolong. There you are, maybe feeling a little sluggish. You can just do this practice of focusing on the 7th chakra and doing this chant. Or you could actually do this chant in any chakra you'd choose to work with. And in some of those other sessions, Joyce, thank you, April 17th, May 19th, and June 17th, we focused on chakras. In those other sessions, I explain what each energy center is associated with. So, for example, if your will center is feeling a little sluggish, you could do this stimulating chant in the will center in the third chakra. Thank you, Joyce. Focusing on the seventh, chanting with me as you're ready. Place of faith and belief. Take a breath. Ila ola, 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 ila ola. 3 more times. Ila ola, ila ola, ila ola. Noticing the effects of that practice on the body and the mind and the energetic system. If you don't notice anything at all, don't turn that into the narrative that you've done something wrong or that it doesn't work, quote unquote. Your system's simply not attuned to the practice yet or accustomed to it. Like all things, that comes through practice. All things practice related. Muscles are strengthened through repetition of movement. Now drop the attention to the center of the chest, the heart chakra, the place of unconditional love and possibility, acceptance, unconditional acceptance, not the same as resignation, acceptance of what is. Through acceptance of what is, we can become powerful agents of change. This heart practice is a particularly great thing to be doing in this time. Time of civil unrest, a time of seeing through structures of oppression in a more collective way, a time of collective grief over death. Begin with the breathing aspect of the practice, where as you exhale, hands come shoulder width apart, and as you inhale, hands draw back together. Go at the pace of your own breath. This is not a forcing the breath in any way, part of the practice, meaning you don't have to try to make the breath long. Just whatever's natural in this moment dictates the movement of the hands. It has quite a different energetic effect to switch this, and as you move the hands apart, you're inhaling. That's not this particular practice. So attend to being sure that as you inhale, the hands are coming together to gasho, my heart and your heart are one. As you exhale, hands coming out. Again, these practices can be broken up. You could just do the stimulation practice. You could just do this breath practice here with the hands. Again, it supports in accessing the mind of patience in particular. Remembering spaciousness. As I talked about yesterday, not creating or attempting to create spaciousness, but remembering spaciousness. One more minute just with the hands. In just a moment, we'll begin the chanting in the heart. This time, again, focusing on the center of the chest while you create the sound, hum, e, ah, om. Focused in the heart. Take note of whatever images or thoughts arise when you're doing these practices. You don't have to make too much meaning out of whatever arises. But for example, in the heart, it can be the case that for some people, images of what we haven't been willing to accept or what we haven't been willing to embrace can come forward as we open, attend to this energy center in this way, consciously, lovingly, and with gentleness and care. And when you're ready, join me in the chant. No problem if you just want to listen first. My attention through this chanting is still focused right on the center of the chest. Allow yourself to experience the heart chakra in all directions. It's not just this little energy center inside the organ of the heart. Take a breath. Om mi Om. Notice I'm still working with the hand mudra or practice. Om mi Om. Om mi Om. Om mi Om. Om mi 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 If the attention wanders off, lovingly bring it back to the heart. Om mi Om mi Om mi focusing on the heart, bring this into the world. Om mi Aum. Like a lighthouse, light in the world. Om mi Aum. Energy of unconditional love, compassion radiating out. Mi Aum. Extending, touching community, loved ones. Mi Aum. Touching people you don't know, touching people you habitually judge. Mi Aum. The light of possibility and love touching people who are marginalized and oppressed. Mi Aum. Continuing to send this love, compassion, light of possibility wherever you feel called. Mi Aum. Doing it for the service of others. Mi Aum. But not excluding yourself. Mi Aum. May all beings benefit. May all beings be touched. Mi Aum. By this light of love and possibility. Mi Aum. 3 more times. Mi Aum. Mi Aum. Mi Aum. Thank you, friends. Sharon, that felt energetically like doing a metta practice using phrases out loud or not. It was quite wonderful, and I feel such love. Beautiful. I don't always very consciously direct the attention out. I don't consciously turn it into a metta practice every time that I do it, but in these times it felt particularly powerful for our community to be able to do this practice and then direct the attention outward in that way. It's not a requirement to do that, but I think yes, it's needed in our time right now. Spencer, beautiful, feel very energized, but not what I usually would call energized, as this is vibrant yet calm. Toward the end of the heart chanting, my arms extended way out as if embracing the world. Lovely. Yes. And may we include, as I said, may all beings benefit. May we include all sentient beings. And as we include those who are marginalized and oppressed, may we also include the acceptance and accessing of possibility it requires for those of us who have close proximity to power and privilege to do the work of dismantling our collective conditioning around systems of oppression, systems that cause harm. Maria, so beautiful. Thank you for bringing this. Yes. Yevlin, creating space. Please tell me, friends, what else are you present to? Please write it in the sidebar. And Yevlin, thank you. I see your question. Beautiful practice. Would you have any book reference, any source from the teacher you have mentioned? Walter McKitchen is who I learned everything I know about the energetic system from. He created the Center for Self-Teaching, and I trained with him for years. He never was able to write his book before he passed. He wrote a book called Spirit Babies, which is a wonderful book, and it doesn't lay out everything he knew about the chakras, but it's a wonderful book, especially if you know someone who's trying to get pregnant. In terms of this Buddhist platform, it might be out there for some, but I trust that if that's interesting to you, you can hang with it. Kiki, I feel full of love and energy. Andrea, beautiful sunflower. So thank you for voicing what's arising with this practice. If you share it with others, which you're welcome to, I encourage you to point back to Presence Collective and Walter McKitchen. Since Walter's passed, point back, be sure to point back to Presence Collective so that if things come up for folks, I can be available to address what that might be. I feel sensitive about offering practices like this out into the world without being in direct communication. I usually do this in retreat settings where I can work with folks if particular things arise around the practice, things that are perhaps new for someone to work with. So I take my responsibility around offering this practice very seriously. So just please do credit or acknowledge Presence Collective as you share this so that people have a way to trace back and get support if something difficult arises around the practice. That to me is a very trauma-informed way to approach this, is to make sure that there's that line of support made available. Charlie, I actually felt my heart chakra vibrating. First time for that. Very powerful, was so strong that my hands had trouble staying connected at center. Thank you. Nikki, lovely practice. Thank you, Nikki. Jonathan, thank you for this practice. The silence passed in a big grin. Yes, remember Thich Nhat Hanh's practice of smiling. With each exhale, smile. This practice can be, it can bring about that soft smile that sometimes naturally arises in meditation as we rest in the recognition of who we truly are. Maria, I love that you bring together all you love so freely. Oh, thank you, Maria. I appreciate that acknowledgement. Yes, there have been times where it's felt a little eclectic, that I have this Zen training, that I've worked with this chakra master, and then have been deeply seeped in these non-dual teachings. But it's thanks for recognizing it's all from love and all for love, in love with love, in the name of love. Kiki, I feel so blessed to be part of this wonderful Sangha. Thank you. Yes, and Ellen, lovely, thank you. Friends, thank you. I did not do my duty, so given how Janice began, I'll just end with this. Don't forget, friends. Thank you, and see you tomorrow.